Hello everyone and welcome to NFL Discussion. I'm your host and NFL enthusiast Dougie Doug. In today's episode I'm going to be discussing Saturday Night Football Week 17 of the 2023 NFL season, Detroit Lions versus Dallas Cowboys. So basically there's no Monday Night Football kind of ended 2 weeks early. College football championships are happening this Monday, so ESPN was nice enough to move Monday Night Football to Saturday nights and conclude their season. Or not conclude their season. I think ESPN has a couple games next Saturday, so Monday Night Football might be over, but ESPN isn't done just yet. And this was a fun game from start to finish. It was close, it was competitive, and there was some controversy towards the end of it. Bad officiating reared its ugly head in one of the worst ways possible. And with that, we're going to get right into the action, starting with the Detroit Lions. And Jared Goff was just not at his best in this game, and so Detroit lost here. And I guess the good news for them is that they can go no lower than number 3 seeding wise in the playoffs. But the ending of the game with multiple failed 2-point tries is something that's going to be talked about a lot. So Jared Goff, as I talked about, not his best against the Dallas defense, but he did lead the team down the field with under 2 minutes remaining on the clock and no timeouts for what would have been a game-time touchdown with 22 seconds remaining. However, Dan Campbell decided to go for the jugular and try to steal the win, electing to go for 2 following the score. And the Lions initially converted on a pass to a lineman, but according to the officials, Terry Deckler report failed to correctly report as eligible, which negated the conversion. That's kind of where they have a lot of the that's where the controversy is right there, people. And honestly, it looks like the referees have badly botched this one. It looks like they screwed the team over. It's just not a good look. And rather than just kicking the point after that penalty, the Lions went for it again and were gifted a third try following a defensive offside. And rather than realizing that they had gambled, basically they just went to the ball one too many times and went for a third time, and it ended up falling incomplete on a poorly thrown ball. So that was pretty much giving the game right to the Cowboys right there. And Detroit could have nothing to play for Week 18 should the 49ers and Eagles both win on Sunday. David Montgomery found pay dirt from 3 yards out in the third quarter to reclaim the lead, but Dallas would kick a field goal on the subsequent drive to tie the game headed into the fourth quarter. As is typically the case in close games, Montgomery split backfield work almost evenly with Jamar Gibbs, which places a relative cap on his upside outside of outrageous efficiency. The Lions could have nothing to play for in Week 18, meaning the next time Montgomery takes the field is in the Super Wildcard round. And Amon-Ra St. Brown had a relatively quiet night, but he still did before the final drive of the game when he linked up with Jared Goff from 11 yards out to punctuate a 2-minute drive. The score would bring the Lions within a point, but the ultra-aggressive Dan Campbell elected to go for 3 times and try to steal the victory, and it failed all 3 times, and the Lions ultimately fell short of keeping their dream of the top seed in the NFC alive. St. Brown could be out of action Week 18, which would leave the Lions locked into the number 3 seed heading into the postseason. So I get what the Lions were trying to do towards the end, trying to steal the win. Ultimately, you're in the playoffs, you won your division, but I just don't think it was worth it. I think ultimately they should have just gone for that extra point kick and tried to secure the win, but it didn't. The refs blew it, and now you're kind of unofficially locked into the number 3 seed. I'd imagine Eagles and 49ers will take care of business, so that's where they are. Dallas Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb unstoppable in this game. Dak Prescott in command all night, and the Cowboys still have a lot left to play for in Week 18. So 227 of Dak's 345 yards through the air were accounted for by one man, the electric CeeDee Lamb. 2 turnovers in Lions territory in the first half kept the game a lot closer than it needed to be. One an interception and the other a fumble by Lamb into the end zone for a possession change and touchback. A rule that just should not exist. Even so, Prescott looked in command all night, moving the ball with ease against the Lions secondary ill-equipped to slow down Lamb. The Cowboys keep fleeting hopes alive for the number 1 seed in the NFC with the win. Although that would require losses by Eagles and the 49ers to do so, they could also move past the Eagles in the NFC East if the Eagles lose, which would leave the two teams tied in the record with a split head-to-head, but Dallas has the advantage due to divisional record, so there is something to play for the Cowboys in Week 18 against the Commanders. They could be number 1 seed, they could be division champions, or none of it can matter. I guess we'll see how it plays out this Sunday. Tony Pollard, 18 of his 49 yards, came on 1 carry in the third quarter as the first-time lead back failed to find any room to run against a swarming Detroit defensive front. So a running game non-existent in this one from Dallas, but I guess it didn't matter as CeeDee Lamb had the Lions number from the jump, connecting with Dak Prescott for a 92-yard touchdown on a scrimmage out of their own end zone in the first quarter. It would be 99 seconds scored 2 possessions later on that fumble into the end zone for a touchback. Even so, Lamb set new worst franchise records in this game. The only member of the Lions secondary that had a chance against him was Brian Branch, so I guess shout out to Brian Branch. I don't know why he wasn't on him more, but CeeDee Lamb had himself a game. I think he broke the might have broken the season single record. Single game record. He did break the single season record for most receiving yards as well. With Mike Orford in the house too, so that's probably a special moment for him right there, even more so. But yeah, Dallas once again gets a win at home, so it's unlikely they win a division, which means they go on the road, and we've all seen the narrative about them on the road. So Dallas is a very intriguing team. They play terrible on the road, but they play good at home. Is that how much of that narrative is going to factor into their postseason performance? I guess we'll see. But Dallas gets the win here and keeps their chances of a division title, number 1 seed, alive, at least for now. And with that will conclude this episode of NFL Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below.